Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing part 2 of the ASG Scorpion Evo takedown and rebuild. So in today's video we're going to be cleaning it, make sure everything's nice and clean. Now to do this I use some rubbing alcohol, something like 70% because it evaporates really quick. A few different brushes, so I've got an old toothbrush, mini brush like this, and then a very micro brush to get into the smaller places. The products we're going to use to re-grease and everything else that we're going to do is Abbey silicone gun grease, and we've got Abbey gun grease LT2, which is perfect for your gears, and then we've got some bearing oil as well. So it's a good idea to remove your shims and make sure you try and do some sort of order so you know which and where they come from. So there you go. You can just see that. So at the top I've got the sector gear, and I've drawn a little diagram of how the sector gear, when I'm looking at it, so I know where the shims are going to go. And I put one side and one the other. Just put that to one side. Same with the spur gear. Draw the shape on the paper, so when you come to put your shims back on, you know where they're going to go. And it's the same with the bevel gear. Just keeps it nice and simple. You're not going to mess up where the shims are from. Once you've done that, just put that to one side and don't disturb it. Okay, so you want a pot, put some of your cleaning fluid, alcohol in there, like that. Take one side of your case, or wherever you want to start, and just start cleaning with your brushes. Make sure you're getting all the cracks everywhere, even the bearings. Give the bearings a nice good clean. Okay, so once you've cleaned these two parts, they should look something like that, nice and shiny, no grease, absolutely dry. One thing you can do, if you've got this compressed air, you can buy it from cheap shops. I'm not going to name where, but there's a really cheap shop that sells it. And you could just dry your bearings out like that. So just use the air to spray inside the bearings and just get any excess water out that's left inside. Okay. So these bearings, they will fall out sometimes, so I'll just show you. They will just pop out like that, so don't be worried if they do. Just pop them back in like that, nice and easy. So these two parts are done, and we're just going to put them to one side. Next we're going to bring in the piston. So we're going to need a posi screwdriver for this, and we're going to take out the piston head, which is just inside there. You can see that screw. Let's see if you've got the right bit in. Okay, so once you've undone your piston head from your piston, you've got the two parts. Now inside the piston there would have been either, you'll get one solid bearing with a screw and the washer, which is the standard, or with some of the upgraded ones you get the bearings as well. So there'll be a base plate, a set of bearings, and then a top plate like that. And this has got this piece of plastic that holds it all together. Like that. Just put that to one side. Then you're going to want to go ahead, take your O-ring off. Like that. Trick it all in there. And give that a nice good clean as well. Just make sure we get every part. This is a ported piston head, so it has got ports inside there, which you can see on the face of it, and that pushes, it expands the O-ring. So when your O-ring's on, piston pushes forward and it makes the O-ring expand like that to create the air seal. So it goes in through there and comes out in this channel here. So we need to get that nice and clean as well, which is where your smaller brush will come in. Just put it inside, just keep working it around until you get all that excess grease off. Like that. Then one other thing you can do, you can get your compressed air again and just put it in them and clear all the little ports out in case there's any blocked ones. And just give it another rub like that. So that's nice and clean, that's nice and clean. Then two parts are done. O-ring, just give it a nice rub with the alcohol. Get a clean rag and just rub it dry like that. And that's done as well. Put that to one side. Same with these, give them a good rub, get all the excess off. And this one. And you can rebuild them the way you took it apart. Ta-da! Magic. Done. Back to one. Let's put that to one side now, that's done. Next we're going to concentrate with the cylinder and the cylinder head. So this is two parts. You can just pull your cylinder head off. Sometimes it's a bit well on there, so just use something to prise it off. I'm going to use something like this, a big Allen key. Put it inside and just push down. That was a bit more violent than I wanted it to be, but you get the idea. This is a double O-ring one, as you can see, and it's the ultimate ASG one. And we've also got the ultimate cylinder. So just give them a nice good clean as well inside your oil. Take these two O-rings off. To do that, just pinch the side and just lift like that, and they'll just pop off like so. Same again on this one. So once you've got those off, dump them in your alcohol liquid, and then I put another small O-ring just in there to give it a better seal against the nozzle. So just take that one off as well if you've got one of those in. Put that in there, put this in there, I don't know if you noticed on the bottom of this, it's like beveled inwards. It's just to help with the airflow. It just pushes it all through nice and even. So that's why that's like that. The standard ones you get, they just come flat like this. It's just about the air pushing through the piston, cylinder head, easier. Let's give all these components a nice good clean now. Okay, so you've got all your products clean now. This is your cylinder head and your O-rings. So we're going to put all this back together now. When you do put the cylinder and the cylinder head together, the ports go to the back, so it will be like that. Okay. So this is a stage where we're going to be now using some silicone gun grease, and this is for your O-rings. So just grab a bit on your fingers and just rub it all around your O-ring like that, and just put that back on there. Like that. Gives it a nice seal. Same with your next one, tiny bit of grease. Just get that on there like that. It's important that we have a nice clean workbench when we're doing this, because we don't want any bits of dirt, sand, grit or anything to get inside that. So once you've done that, just wipe the excess off, like so. Put that to one side, that part's done. Going back to the piston head, remove your O-ring. We're going to put some grease on this one as well. Just like that. Then the last part is in your cylinder. Get some grease on your finger and just wipe it on the inside. We don't want loads, we just want to make it a nice good tight seal. That side and that side. It's only on the outside, just wipe the excess off. We don't need it on the outside. And that's that. Now we can reassemble all these parts. Done. So once you've done that part, you've reassembled it all. I'm not going to lie, this cylinder head to get back in was a bit of a pain. It took me a good few minutes to get it right and get it in without trapping the O-rings. So just take your time with that, don't damage it. Then what we're going to do is test the air seal. So put your finger on the cylinder head like that and just push your piston in. As you can see, that's a really good seal. We've got no air loss coming through that. So that's a win. That's good. So we've done with them for now. They can go to one side. Next we've got the nozzle, which is this small bit there. We're going to clean that. Shouldn't be that dirty, but just clean it. It's best to give it a good clean while it's out. Get your smaller brush to get inside. Just give it a nice white round. And just dry that off. Now with these ASG ones, they don't have the O-ring inside. I'm not sure why, but they just don't for some reason. That's okay. They give a really good seal, which I'm going to show you just now. So your tappet plate, you can give it a wipe, but it won't really be that dirty. It'll be more towards the gear end where it'll be dirty if anywhere. But just give that a nice wipe anyway and get anything off that's on there. And put that to one side. And with your spring, you can give that a good wipe as well. Like so, and just put that to one side. So, I'm going to put our O-ring back on, our cylinder head. with a tiny bit of grease, like so. Put that over, and then we're just going to try what the seal's like with this. And again, as you can see, I'm not losing any pressure. So we've got good seal now all the way around. All of these components, that's all sealed, it's all nice. That can go to one side, that part's finished. The next thing we're going to be working on is the gears, cleaning the gears. So we can bring them back into play. Just pull your sheet down from earlier. Now, careful not to mix all your shims up, because it'd be a nightmare for you to shim it back up. And then one by one, we're just going to clean these as well. Same thing in the alcohol. Get in between all the teeth. Nice good clean. Just take your time doing it, because we're not going to be splitting the gearbox, you know, every couple of months to do this. So whilst we're inside it, we want to give it the best clean we can possibly give. So just take your time and do each individual part, and I'll come back to you. Okay, so you've got everything nice and clean. It should look something like this. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown of the upgrade parts in here, so you know what we've got. We've got the ultimate high-speed gear set, which is speed 100-130, and they're 16:1, but they've been short stroked. If you move up here, we've got the bearing spring guide, which has got the bearings on. That's the ultimate one as well. And then we've got an M115 spring, ultimate. We've got the ultimate red polycarbonate piston with a steel rack. And we've got the ultimate piston head, which is vented as well. Moving on, ultimate cylinder head version 2. If we move down, we've got the CNC hop unit, and inside here we've got a maple leaf super bucking 60 degree. Moving on to the barrel, this is a Mad Bull 603 precision, which is one of these. This is a 407, it's for a different gun, but it's the same barrel, smaller. Then we've got short stroke trigger, which is this one. You can convert that even more and make it into a hair trigger, where you put a piece of plastic, a very small shim just inside on there. Now, I haven't done it, I don't recommend doing it, because it can break the what's it called, the marker switch. It can break the marker switch when you're pulling it, so you can do it, but I don't recommend doing it. Then we've got the CNC Infinity motor. Absolutely brilliant motors, I can't fault them whatsoever. It's they speak for themselves anyway. It's a short stroke one. And the 2018 gearbox. Oh, and the bearings, don't forget the bearings. That's pretty much everything that's inside the gun. And then obviously I've got bits on the outside of the gun as well. Okay, so we're going to need a couple of spare small brushes for this next part. Small clean brushes. And we're going to bring our silicone oil back in, silicone gun grease. Just dab your brush in there, don't need loads on there. I'm just going to put a bit along these runs here. And the same on the other side. Nice even coat on both sides. What that does is it allows your piston to move. It moves and slides better. It's just less friction. If there is friction inside there, you don't want anything. So, tiny bit in there. And then we've got the bearing oil. You just want to get a small screwdriver for this, like this, and just dip your screwdriver in. And we just want one small blob on each bearing. like that. Like so. And one more. Just on there. You can also put some bearing oil on your bearing guide. Just get a nice blob, just blob that on, and it will just work its way around inside there. Okay, put that to one side. So the bearing oil is done with now, we don't need that anymore. Next we're going to move on to the Abbey gun grease LT2 for your gears. So for this you want a little brush. Just dab your brush in like that. We don't want loads of grease on these gears. It's important not to get loads of grease on these gears. It's not going to help with your performance. It's just going to hinder. It's just going to hinder your gears, and it's going to mess the inside of your gearbox up, which is why I use a brush. So just brush it on. Make sure you get a nice even coat on all of them teeth, like that. And don't forget about those ones on the inside. Like that. And then we could just rub off the excess from the surface, from the face. Okay, so that one's done. And then we're going to do the same on the others, just a small smear. Okay, that's all the gears. They've all got the nice smear of grease on, and that is everywhere where you need to put it. Don't excessively go crazy with the gear grease. I can't stress that enough. We don't want it flicking all around the gearbox and getting in all the other components. We want to try and keep the grease to a minimum where we can. So yeah, just follow those steps, and I'll see you in part 3 for the reassembly. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe, and if you've got any questions, just comment below. Thanks again, guys.